Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 29th June 2017. The first article, Promises in the Rose Garden. It is about recent Prime Minister Modi's visit to United States of America. Here, author Nirupama Rao, she tried to dissect the entire joint statement. So, don't worry about the technical jargon used over here. Try to focus on the emphasis of the article. Now, during President Obama era, India-US relations have reached to new heights. Now the present trip is more of a reassuring and reaffirming the relations which are being developed between these two countries. So in this context, let us see various dimensions to this relationship. If you take defense, India-US are expected to continue their defense relationship and engage further. It is clearly reflective in import of Predator drones, that is Guardian Sea drones by India. It is bound to increase maritime security. And added to that, Malabar naval exercises have also found mention in the joint statement. And India invited United States of America to be part of Indian Ocean Naval Symposium. So it means there is going to be a deepening of relations between the countries. Coming to energy sector, let's see it this way. When Bush was the president, energy sector is primarily dominant with regard to our nuclear energy because nuclear deal has come into existence. The next is Obama era. There is an emphasis on nuclear cooperation, but the major emphasis shifted to renewables. Today, during Trump era, India is expected to import shale gas from United States of America. And these dimensions of the economic cooperation are changing. And second important aspect to this is technology transfer. With regard to clean coal technologies and renewable technologies, India is going to get help from the United States of America. And then coming to strategic cooperation, so during Obama era, South China Sea was a major area where both the countries have declared that there shall be freedom of navigation and open skies in this particular area. But however, this did not get the prime spot or prime space in the joint statement now. But however, India's concerns related to One Belt, One Road initiative, especially passing it, are sovereign concerns that it is passing through its territory, have found mention in the joint statement. So here India it has been clearly stated that India's sovereignty and territorial rights have to be taken into consideration. And second is the debt. It shall not create the debt burden, and there has to be greater transparency in infrastructure projects like this. So it means to whatever the statement India has made to reason that why it did not participate in Belt and Road Forum is re-emphasized in the joint statement. And coming to other aspects of cooperation, Afghanistan and then North Korea, the Indian role is being appreciated by the American leadership. If you take Afghanistan, India has broadened its scope to build the capabilities of its armed forces. Because of this, what is happening is it is providing a venue for the American troops to withdraw from the Afghanistan soil. So the goodwill diplomacy, capacity building exercises taken up by India, and strengthening of the state mechanisms are all being appreciated by the US leadership. And finally, there is on the trade front, yes, Mr. Modi's and President Trump's views are in conflict with each other, but they try to accommodate each other's concerns. With regard to Trump, his statement is Make America Great Again. That is to bring growth and prosperity back to America. And India, it is talking about Make in India to generate growth and employment. So this is leading to protectionism measures. So here the joint statement talks about free trade, prosperity for both, and also emphasizes on removing the protections. Along with the trade, we have some concerns related to H-1B visas and immigration. These did not find their space in the joint statement. This is what is the significance of visit of Prime Minister Modi to United States of America. Next is fighting an old battle. So it is about persons with disabilities. So the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016 talks about mobility and access to public spaces for the people with disabilities. It is going to provide them with greater opportunities and can be a source of empowerment. So in these circumstances, the author clearly says that presently imposition of tax on aids which are being used by physically disabled can go against to the spirit of this aspect in the 2016 act. Next is pay to publish. Here know the definition of paid news. A news article published either in electronic media or print media masking itself as a reported news, we call it as paid news. So in this context, paid news are not being punished till date. What are the problems with the paid news? The first challenge is this with regard to paid news are being projected as the real news. That is the reason why the amount paid for the paid news do not reflect in the electoral expenses. And also they are limiting the choices and influencing the choices of the voters. So an information asymmetry is being created in this entire process. So it has to be declared as unlawful. So Election Commission has recommended the same to the government and Representation of People's Act is expected to be amended for this. So publishing any paid news or preventing it from getting published, a normal news getting published, to gain an unfair electoral advantage shall be a punishable offence. That is what this article is about. And added to that, electoral offences and judgments related to this are often delayed. And by the time most of these people, they are completing their tenure in the legislative houses. So a mechanism has to be established to adjudicate this as quick as possible. Next is New Tech World Values. You know that European Commission has imposed 2+ billion euros as penalty on Google. It is based on their antitrust legislation because whenever market monopolization happens, it is going to be dangerous to the customer. So market shall function on the basis of competition. So if markets fail or competitions fail, markets fail. And this market monopoly is more dangerous than the state monopoly. So market monopoly deprives the choices and affects the welfare of the customers. Now Google is a search engine leader and Google is using its position to promote its other products, especially shopping products, etc. So in this context, again as the monopoly laws, Google is acting, so an penalty is imposed. Let us see much wider dimension to this. Today data is currency and data is crossing across the borders and making these giants as super powerful. So the multinational companies are so powerful today to even influence the governments. A regulatory boundary has to be created for their functioning, and this episode reminds us about this particular situation. Now let's go to the next page, the front page. Now disinvestment, Air India disinvestment. Now in this context, remember one thing. When Prime Minister Modi came to power, he has dismantled all groups of ministers appointed by Mr. Manmohan Singh. So the GOM as an institutional setup was dismantled. Now again it was reconstituted to make a decision or to suggest to the cabinet to make a decision on disinvestment in Air India. From governance perspective, it is very much important. And the next is India-China relations. There is a tri-junction close to Chicken Neck Corridor. So this is a tri-junction between India, Bhutan and China. China is building a motorable road in this tri-junction and India had its own objections, Bhutan had its own objections to it. So that is being raised by India. And second is India or else Indian Kailash Manasarovar Yatra pilgrims, these are being sent back, stating that India has been exceeded its space or exceeded its role with regard to Nathula Pass is concerned. So these are the things in the front page. Now let's go to the news page. Fighting like Mahatma, says Meera Kumar. So Meera Kumar has emphasized that this shall not be seen as fight among two Dalits. So these are narrow political consideration if the respect to the president's office is concerned. So it has to be seen more as a fight among the ideologies. That's what Ms. Meera Kumar states over here. Now, in the joint statement, where Mr. Syed Salahuddin was declared as a global terrorist, a special category global terrorist, the words used are Indian administered Kashmir. So this is a controversial term, and India claims the territorial rights over the entire Jammu and Kashmir. So this word administered is being objected by the Congress. And then let us talk about this. As standoff continues, army chief to visit border areas. So what the Beijing is saying is Nadula entry is only possible if India corrects its errors. So these particular irritants across the border between India and China are common things. But this time China is trying to highlight this, and it is coming at a moment when Prime Minister Modi is visiting United States of America. So it is in alignment with policy of China, where they want to maintain stability at strategic level but wants to create irritants at the tactical level. So it is reflective when President Xi Jinping has visited India too. At that point of time, there are incursions across the Ladakh region. So this clearly shows the strategy of China. And second thing is, India also emphasized that it is representing itself on the side of the Bhutan. So China tried to play an emotional game with the nationalistic sentiments of Bhutan, saying that it's a disrespect to the sovereignty of Bhutan. Now, the next page, that is the business page. Government unveils new hydrocarbon policy. So what is this about? Previously, different licenses were necessary for different products to be explored. So now under open acreage licensing policy, it has been clearly stated that for all the gases or oil exploration, one single licensing policy is sufficient. And also royalty fees is reduced. All these can provide for increased production of energy, and it can lead to energy security in India. That's what has been stated. So these are the articles which are important for today. And, at the end of the thing, I gave you the notes. It is available to you at laex.in/civils-prep. And again, courses of Law Excellence are available at laex.in/test-prep, and you can follow these courses. Thank you very much and all the best.